What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new civilization. So not welcome back, welcome to a new Civilization 5 AI only battle. I know, 2 at once, pretty crazy stuff, pretty crazy times, but there we go. They're really popular, finally biting the bullet. We'll probably focus a little bit more on them and see what happens. But yeah, this one is one I sort of hinted at. We have made all the continents bigger. I didn't really know how it was going to look, and to be honest, it's turned out very uncomfortable to even look at, but and some other ideas were thrown in with the comments as well. So we've essentially made it an Ice Age game. So the sea levels have essentially fallen, is the story, and all the coastal tiles are sort of one bigger. You see, I've made the ice a bit bigger up here. I also made it at the bottom. I just added some ice because there wasn't any. But yeah, everywhere is really fat, basically. Everywhere's got an extra tile around it. All the islands are connected and stuff. It looks very weird and unusual. I've tried to match up the land to the type that was sort of next to it already, where possible. Most of it is grassland, though. It did take a lot of right-clicking. That is definitely going to come back to get me when I'm older. The amount of right-clicking I had to do to make this happen. I still mountained off a bit of the tundra, but the Iroquois are back, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the map just looks like it's had an allergic reaction to something. Everything is just big and swollen. The UK is connected to Europe. I've tried to use some different civs in Europe just to make it interesting, but obviously I've tried to leave the same mods turned on as I have in the other AI battle that's running right now, so that I don't have any conflicts when, having to switch between and maybe missing one out and everything going wrong. So we are using the same mods essentially just to avoid any issues, but I switched some of the vanilla civs in Europe. So Portugal's in for Spain, Netherlands in for France, Celts in for Britain, Denmark for Germany, Austria for Poland. Rome is still Rome. Greece is in, and the Ottomans are in instead of Byzantium. Assyria's in for Babylon. Africa, there's a few less civs this time. We'll spice it up a little bit. There's actually not that many, but hopefully, there's some civs that look like they have a ton of land, but hopefully it's okay. We've also got Russia, Attila, and the Huns. The Khazar out here as well. Persia, India, Siam, the Jar, China, Korea, and Mongolia. There is no excuse for Siam in this game, by the way. Look at all this land. I know it obviously seems like a good time to put Indonesia in, but I couldn't, see. I didn't really think about what the map was going to look like when I was picking, and yeah, now I'm looking. Indonesia probably should be in, but never mind. They're not here. This would have been their best game ever as well. I do feel for them. Krakatoa is now invisible. I apologise. I must have accidentally clicked on top of that somehow. Australia's here, just a big fat version of Australia, basically. New Zealand's looking quite chunky as well, but there you go. It'll be same as always. Leave your picks to win. We've also got the Corral down here this time. They got booted out of the last one, but they're here this time. So yeah, we'll get into this and see what happens. I don't really know. This might not be very balanced. There are some civs that have got access to new giant amounts of land. Madagascar is now massive, for example. So yeah, it might not be ideal. I don't really know. And also, it does look quite plain. I just didn't want to have any kind of awkwardness, bias or anything. So I just decided not to add any new resources on these tiles. So, yeah, that's that, basically. Although I don't see too many. Okay, no, we can see the sea resources. There's just absolutely none along here. Fair enough. But yeah, be sure to leave your picks. I'm sure to leave mine. It's deity difficulty, quick speed, domination only, aggressive and expansive AI, all that good stuff that we are pretty used to at this point. The info addicts are there for us to have a look, although sometimes they get a bit funny if you have two games at once using them, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, we should be okay. But yeah, Africa, Europe, and Asia are glued together. The Mediterranean, obviously, once you add one tile, obviously it's one tile from the top, you'd think that's not that much, but once you add one tile on the bottom as well and from the sides, it fills up very quickly. There's a few lakes and areas here. This is where Italy, no, this is Sardinia, and then yeah, here's the gap of the regular coastline, but Italy completely merged with Greece. The Red Sea's completely gone. The Persian Gulf is mostly gone. I did miss some parts. I just left the Caspian Sea because it's not really connected to the sea, so we left this out. And then there's some other areas, I missed the Falkland Islands by accident, but most of it's the same. Hawaii is huge. That's going to be good for someone to get, I guess. Much bigger over there. Japan is connected to the mainland, not by much, but they also have plenty more tiles, so this could be quite interesting. It's sort of similar to the land bridges one we did, but they're quite different. Very different. A lot more expansive this time around. But we're starting to see some second cities nice and early on. So the Iroquois already grabbing their second, pushing sort of to the southwest. The Aztecs and the Mayans. The Aztecs really forward settling the Mayans, who just went up a little bit. The Inca pushing out of the mountains. The Corral, wow, Brazil, just straight in their face. Great. The Zulu and Rhodesia getting their starts underway. Congo getting their second city. No Burundi. This region's been very difficult for the civs. I'm just hoping that the overall more space will make the other civs really strong too. Songhai with 2 cities there. Morocco already pushing into Iberia and getting this weird look. A lot of things are visually glitched, as you can imagine. There's a lot of visual changes. Morocco settling into by the Rock of Gibraltar. Portugal down here. I was worried there was a lot of space in Europe for Portugal, but now they're connected to Africa with Carthage and everything. That's fine. I don't mind. Rome have already pushed towards Austria with Antium, and Austria coming back with Salzburg. Sparta has been settled by Greece. We could have had a Sweden or someone in, but there is the limit. We are at 43 civs, so I would have had to have sacrificed somebody else. So that's fine. Aarhus, the second Danish city. The Dutch, yep, we saw that. Whoa, that was way too far. Move away, grey stuff. Russia with 2. The Khazar pushing right towards the Huns, who have 2. The Ottomans have already gone north and settled into a tile that I don't even think is normally... This is normally in the water, I believe. So, at least the AI is making the most of these new tiles. Assyria pushing out this way. Persia with their second city. Egypt going down the river Nile. The Caramantes across the Sahara. This is so weird. Carthage settling right into the middle of the Mediterranean. Of course, we've seen no Mediterranean before. I did do that Atlantis Europa fantasy campaign thing. We've seen down here. India with a second city. India looks very weird because it's connected to Sri Lanka. It just looks very lopsided. Siam settling over here towards this giant lake. And then, what else? The Jar have not settled yet, but China with 2, Mongolia with 2, and Korea with 2. Japan yet to get their second city, but I'm sure there's time. Shoshone already going straight up towards the mountains. The Sioux coming downwards a little bit. America yet to settle, and Houston has been settled by Texas. So there we go. That's a lot of settling. The Corral also squeezed in a city down here at the bottom. Hopefully they can at least get out maybe this way, because that is brutal from Brazil. Well, I'm sure it will lead to some wars regardless. We'll see, but probably going to lead to some wars. Would it surprise me in the slightest if it did. The Jar just grabbed their second city up here. That is a good spot between 2 rivers and some mountains. It's a very easy to defend spot. Portugal with their second city. Mali has gone either side of the Songhai. Not sure how good of an idea that is, but we'll leave it up to them. Arabia with their city here, Medina. I'm glad that the civs are making the most of the new tiles. They are using them, so that's good. I was a bit worried they wouldn't at all, but it looks like these new tiles are being used. And because I think in the land bridges one, they seemed a bit like unaware that they were supposed to be there. Like it did seem like they didn't know that they were there. It was a bit weird. But yeah, I mean, also bear in mind one other thing. Civs, there's 2 kind of losers in this game, I think, in terms of civs. Again, sorry about the little map glitches. They are just going to be there, sadly, when there's this many changes. The 2 main losers are the completely inland civs anyway. So the ones that are about as far away from any changes as possible. So your Russia and Mongolia, for example. These guys, you know, it's going to be a normal game for them. They're quite far from where the changes are. I guess Russia's up towards Scandinavia, but yeah, they're not going to see too much. There we go, the US grabbing New York. Yeah, those sorts of civs, the Garamantes. I mean, with no Mediterranean, I guess it's very different for them too. But, you know, some of those civs that are very far inland, I would say limit that to Russia, Mongolia, and the Khazar. And I guess the Huns are the main 4 candidates there, at least early on. Because those guys have not gained any land, and all the civs around them essentially have got some extra space to settle. And then it's also the ones who regularly have coastal capitals. So I don't think Washington is, but yeah, civs that usually spawn on the coast. I'm trying to think of some examples. These guys aren't quite ever on the coast. There's no opportunity for a canal this time. The Inca are normally just off the coast. I think Rio, Rio, there's 1 tile here, so Rio would normally be on the coast. So civs like Brazil, they lose out on a capital that's coastal. I mean, that's not a disaster, but yeah, that is just something to bear in mind. Maybe they're missing out on that. But we'll see what it all leads to. I have no idea how this is going to go. Like I said, some civ may absolutely just dominate this game. I really don't know how it's going to go. It's going to be very interesting. There's just a lot more land, which means more cities mostly, more farms. It's not going to be much more than that. Because like I said, there's not more resources. In fact, there's a few less because all the coastal resources got kind of destroyed. But yeah, there is. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. Most literate, we have a lot of people with 9 and 8 technologies. Some already falling behind onto 7. That's a little concerning. Mostly in Africa. Not sure why that is. I guess being in the desert probably, but not as good. There you go. All those civs are actually in the Sahara. Morocco, Mali, Garamantes, and Egypt, I think it was, or something like that. If it was 4 of them. Is anyone else? I'm just trying to see if anyone's got a third city, but it doesn't look like it yet. We haven't had any crazy early wars. Probably will take a little bit longer for there to be wars because there is more land. So I would assume that they're going to be able to settle more before wars break out. I do see Siam grabbing a third. They've got a big shot here. Like they've got access to all of this. Like this is huge for them. Yeah, Indonesia should be here. Looking back, but it just took so long. Like I couldn't really change it, sadly. But maybe we'll figure it out. Indonesia, they'll have their day. Okay, I did a let's play. We did good, so I think that gives them their moment in the never mind in the sun. I don't know, their day in the sun. I don't know. Mali already pushing towards what used to be Cuba, although now it's just some massive blob. Okay, I've just realised this looks a bit odd. Not quite. I mean, very exaggerated, but it does look kind of weird. Just sticking out of the Americas like that, it does look pretty weird. Carthage, who have 2 settlers on the move. Oh my goodness. But they are at war with Rome and Greece now. This is going to be hard to keep track of. Definitely. Rome and Greece. Because normally a lot of wars don't matter. And I just sort of blank them out when you see them. But now there's lots that do matter. For example, this one. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm surprised Carthage already going for 4 cities. That's pretty bold. I like the idea. The Iroquois up to 3 already with the city of Grand River. And they have a 4th settler already. The Sioux with 3. Shoshone not quite there, but they have a few units. Texas has got a settler. The Aztecs nowhere to go. California is more open, this west coast, so they could push up that way. And then the Mayans and maybe Texas will fight for this area. The Inca and Brazil have got a 3rd settler up and ready to go. The Celts and the Dutch not doing too much. It's crazy though. They're next to each other, look. And the Celts just have so many more units. I guess they're building buildings, but yeah, I mean, you'd be a bit concerned right now if you were rooting for the Dutch. There we go. Carthage straight up to 4 cities. We'll see. Ambitious. If this is Carthage's game, I'm all for it. It's probably their best shot, maybe. Potentially. Denmark going for a 3rd city. Russia already has 3. We have... What do we have? Let me just check. Do we want to start... Okay, we'll do one more turn, and I'll start my little sort of recap, just so everyone can make their picks. I guess we'll start the recap now. The Corral down here with 2, sort of in the corner. Brazil have got a settler ready. Rome has just completed the Great Library. The Inca do have another settler ready to go. So there is 2 wonders here in South America up for grabs. The Mayans with 3 cities so far. The Aztecs with 2. Texas with 2 and a settler. The Sioux with 3 and a settler. The Shoshone with 2. The Iroquois with 3 and a settler. And America with 2. What else we got? The Celts with 2. The Dutch with 2. Denmark with 3 now. Russia with 3. The Huns with 2. The Khazar with 2. Ottomans with 2. Greece with 2. Lots of units here. The Aztecs with 2. Oh, Greece with 3, sorry. Austria with 2. Not the Aztecs. Rome with 2. Carthage with 4 and a settler. That is insane. Portugal with 2 and a settler. Morocco with 2. Songhai and Mali with 2. Garamantes with 2. Egypt with 2 and a settler. Ethiopia with 2 and a settler. Congo with 3. Rhodesia with 3. The Zulu with 2 and a ton of units. India with 3. Persia with 2 cities and 1 settler. The Khazar with 2. Mongolia with 2 cities. China with 2 cities. Korea with 2 cities. Japan with 2 cities and a settler. The Jar with 2 cities. Siam with 3 cities and a settler. And who else we got? We got Australia going to get their 3rd city in just a second. And as I said, Rome just grabbed the Great Library, so they're probably leading the way in technology early on. But that'll be it for episode 1, so be sure to leave your comment with who you think is going to win down below. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.